Lily Rowe and we are out on our walk today on a rather chilly day. In fact, it's been trying to snow. Well, it did snow, it's melted now, but it did snow and it's got a very, very cold wind. Apparently -6 wind chill today. So, because it's so cold, we thought we would make a quick impromptu video with 5 tips for keeping warm at Forest School. So let's get into it. Tip 1 is dress according to the layer system. So I have got a video with more details about what the layer system is. I'll pop the link in the description below. But in a nutshell, you've got 3 layers that you need to make sure that you're wearing. The first is the base layer. So that's what's in contact with your skin. And a good base layer wicks out the moisture from your skin and wicks it away from your body and out to the outermost layers. So you want fabrics like wool or synthetic fabrics because they're very, very good at doing that. Cotton, not in cold weather. Don't wear cotton vests in cold weather. It will make you colder because it holds onto the moisture and keeps that close to your skin. So try to avoid cotton if you can. The next layer is your mid layer or your insulating layer, and that actually might be made up of more than 1 layer. In fact, in these temperatures, we've got at least 3 or possibly 4 mid layers on. So the idea of these fabrics that you're wearing need to sort of have a high loft so that they're trapping air. So things like synthetic fleeces, again wool is great, woolly jumpers, and anything with a bit of loft, you know, down or synthetic downs as well, very good to kind of insulate the body. So then there's the final outer layer or shell layer, which are basically your waterproofs, synthetic waterproofs that are going to kind of keep the water from coming from the outside in, and also the wind. They'll be windproof too, essential on a day like today. So that's your layer system: your base layer, your mid layer or insulating layer, and your outer or your shell layer. So make sure you've got all 3 of those. Do remember that small children have got like a higher surface area because they've got smaller bodies, so they will get cold more quickly than an adult. So even if you're feeling okay, it's possible if you're working with particularly early years children, they're going to feel the cold more quickly, so they might need more layers on. Do remember that more thin layers keeps you warmer than fewer thick layers, because the more layers, the more air that's trapped. So layer up rather than big jumpers. Tip 2 is don't forget your extremities. Your hands, your feet, your head. All of these things tend to get cold first because they're further away from the core of your body. So make sure you've got gloves, possibly more than 1 pair of gloves. Again, you can do the layer system on your extremities as well. You could have some thin wool gloves underneath some big like waterproof ski type gloves. So thinking about feet, a lot of kids come to Forest School in welly boots because, you know, that's an affordable pair of footwear, but actually in the winter time that's a bit rubbish because they're not insulating in any way. So if you're wearing welly boots, you'll need several pairs of socks to keep your feet warm enough inside the boots. In an ideal world, you want more of an insulated winter type boot, snow boots and things like that. However, sometimes they can't be waterproof, so it's a bit of a, in our climate, a bit of a trade-off depending on if it's really cold or if it's really wet, as to what the best sort of footwear is. And of course there's your head. You might want a hat, have a hood over the top of the hat. Again, layer up your head. You lose quite a lot of your body heat from your head, so it's important to keep that warm. Although Lily Rowe, even in the coldest weather, doesn't like wearing hats. So I guess there is some level of choice and resilience in this. Tip 3 is to keep moving. So At Forest School, you might notice certain body language in the children when they look like they're getting cold, and so that would be the time to maybe suggest a game or do something physically active, saw up some firewood, whatever that is. Keep moving because obviously body movement generates heat, and that's a good way of kind of keeping warm. I have got some ideas for some simple games for Forest School. I'll pop the link in the description below. Tip 4 is to seek some shelter or create it. So if there are areas on your Forest School site that are a bit more dense, like we've just got into this little thicket or under a tree, or there's still lots of ivy on things, you know, you can huddle in there maybe to do some games or crafts or something. It's going to provide natural shelter from the winds. If you haven't got that, of course you can create that. Rig up a tarp, or if you've got something like a teepee shelter or bell tent or something, even if you've got like a shelter with a little stove in it, particularly if you're out all day with little ones, wintertime, that can be a real kind of lifesaver to huddle up and have a warm space, even if it's just temporarily to kind of huddle and warm up before going back out in there. So yeah, look for shelters. Tip 5, and our final one, is to have some sort of heat source available. So a fire, very handy in the winter. Of course, if that's appropriate for your group to have a fire and appropriate for your site to have a fire. I realise that might not be possible for everyone, but of course a nice fire to gather around, warm your hands by, is great in the winter time. Other alternatives are, make sure you've got some hot water with you. Maybe bring it in with some of those big insulated flasks and some small hot water bottles, so that if somebody's getting really cold, you can give them a hot water bottle. I've also seen people use those little kind of pocket hand warmers, the ones that you can kind of reuse and kind of regenerate. Have a supply of those. So again, it's often hands and feet that get really cold first, so you could stick those in your welly boots or in your pockets with your hands, and that can help people warm up. So have some way to immediately offer a heat source to the learners, so that if they're getting really cold, you can help them feel more comfortable. So we've got a final bonus tip for you, which is around recognising the early stages of hypothermia. So when you start to go hypothermic, one of the sort of symptoms is you lose coordination in your hands and your fingers. So if you can ask people whether they can do this, so touching each of their fingers to their thumb, that shows that you're not hypothermic yet. Because it shows that you've still got coordination. Of course, this does mean if you can do that anyway before, very little children might yet not actually have the coordination to do that anyway. So that works with older people, but maybe not for younger ones. Can you do this, Babs? Can you do this? See? So there you go, there are 5 tips for keeping warm at Forest School. Do you have any other tips? Do let me know in the comment section below. If you've enjoyed this video, do give us a thumbs up and consider subscribing to our channel so you can join us in the woods or fields again next time. And thanks for watching. Winter time can be cold, but we go out in all weathers, so I'm told keeping warm can be a breeze when you layer up and head to the trees.